Hi everybody, I'd like to tell you about Glastonbury Festival, which is a very famous festival in Britain, and an experience that I had the first time that I went down there. Glastonbury is not just famous for having a festival, but it's also quite an important cultural, archaeological, spiritual, religious, even mythological place in sort of British culture. In the legend of King Arthur's supposed to be buried on the Isle of Avalon, which some people think might be Glastonbury Tor. So it's a bit of a kind of special place to go anyway. And a long, long time ago, in I think 1970, 71, it started as a free festival. So it's always been a bit alternative. And I think some of the money from the festival later, when it became a ticket festival, goes to Greenpeace, which is an environmental organisation. So it's kind of quite a cool festival to go to, or at least it used to be. Don't know what it's like now. But anyway, a long time ago, back in 1985, when I was about 18, I was planning to go to Glastonbury Festival in the summer. And in those days, this was before internet, before mobile phones, all that kind of stuff, before computers online, so if you wanted to buy a ticket for something like that, you had to go to a record shop and actually go and buy it. And of course, me being a teenager and not being very kind of organised, same with my friend, by the time we saved enough money, £16, that's how much it cost, to get a ticket, they'd actually sold out from Leeds, so we couldn't get a ticket, and it was only a few days before. A friend of ours was going down in his car, he had a ticket, and so we just thought, oh, we'll go down with him, and didn't really kind of plan it. We just thought, oh, we'll go down and it'll be okay, and yeah, it'll be fine. Weren't too worried that we didn't have tickets, I don't know why. But anyway, we drove down through the night to get to Glastonbury, and we kind of arrived there, I think it was a Thursday morning, Friday morning maybe, and I don't know why, but we didn't sort of make a plan or anything, like, perhaps if we'd hidden in the back of the car or hidden in the boots or something, our friend could have driven through with his ticket, and we could have kind of, he could have smuggled us in. But anyway, we got to the ticket gate, and I think I was in the passenger seat, and the ticket guy came up, we wound down the windows, and he said, "Tickets, please." My friend who was driving, he gave his ticket, and me and my other friend kind of pretended, oh, they were here somewhere, where, oh, we seem to have lost them, and of course the ticket man didn't believe us, so it ended up, we just had to kind of get out of the car and sort of say goodbye to our friend, and I think we said something like, we didn't even have a plan what we were going to do, when we got inside the festival, if we got in. So we just said something like, yeah, we'll meet you in there, near the main stage. I think in our minds we imagined that it was going to be a few fields with a few tents and, maybe a few hundred, maybe a few thousand people there. But anyway, our friend kind of drove off, and in the car he had our tents, our food, all our dry clothes, all that stuff. Again, I don't know why we didn't take our things out of the car. I think we were just convinced we'd see him inside the festival. So me and my friend who didn't have the tickets, we kind of started walking away from the main entrance, across fields, over fences, over hedges. And in those days, there was no wall or barrier to stop people getting into the festival. So it was actually quite easy for us eventually to hop over a few fences and kind of find a place where we could get into the festival and sneak in. And we thought, brilliant, we've got in for free. Now all we have to do is find Greg. He's got our food and drink and clothes and tents. Let's go and find him. And then, of course, the reality hit us that Glastonbury Festival is massive. I mean, massive. It's like a small. It is a town. It's like quite a big town. It sort of spreads all across the valley, and there's tents on the hills. So we kind of thought, oh, it's a bit bigger than we thought. Never mind, let's go meet Greg. by the main stage. And of course we got to the main stage, and there must have been, there's maybe like 20,000 people there to watch the bands and stuff. To cut a long story short, it kind of started raining, and as you can probably guess, we didn't meet Greg on the first day. We had to sleep in a stage tent, just kind of near the stage, because we didn't have anywhere to sleep ourselves. We didn't have any food. I think I had a bottle of wine. And I don't think we had much money either. Again, I don't know why we didn't have any money. You do this kind of thing when you're younger, at least I used to. And so then we spent the next day just wandering around. It started raining again, sort of got covered in mud, so we had no dry clothes, we had no food. We spent what little bit of money we had on quite expensive food. Maybe we got a drink or something. And again, yeah, we couldn't find Greg. And we never found him, actually. In the end, we got so kind of tired and hungry and wet that we left the festival early, and we had to hitchhike from Glastonbury all the way back to Leeds, which took us 2 days. And we had to sleep in an empty house that we found in Bristol. But to cut the long story short, the short time we were there was such an amazing experience, because back in those days, I think Glastonbury was more diverse. The people went there. It wasn't so expensive. You could get in for free if you wanted to. Nowadays, it costs, I think, £200 for a ticket. You need a couple of £100 to, spend at the weekend. So I think most of the people who go now are quite wealthy, maybe a little bit middle class, professional, comfortable people, which is fine, but I don't think it's as crazy and diverse as when I used to go back in the day. But anyway, that's my story of Glastonbury Festival. I hope you enjoyed it. You should, if you ever get a chance to go to Glastonbury, it's great. But nowadays there are so many festivals in the UK. Back in those days there weren't many, so Glastonbury was like a place where everybody who was alternative went. It's kind of like a rite of passage. But I think nowadays there's so many festivals that I don't know if Glastonbury is as special as it used to be, but it's still, I would recommend going, because it's still pretty special in a lot of ways. So people tell me. Okay, thank you, bye.